Welcome to the Foxhole. I'm Nandor Fox Shaffer, and this is the Art of Writing Comics, where we look at the best written comics of the past and present. For creators, this is a series that I hope that will help you be a better writer, be a better creator. And for fans, this is just a place where we geek out and we look at the coolest comics and what I think are the best comics. For today's episode, this is episode 2. We're going to be looking at Rorschach issue 2 by Tom King, Jorge Fornes, and Dave Stewart. If you missed the first episode, I looked at Rorschach issue 1. I recommend you check it out. Please like the video. Please comment and tell me what you think. Without further ado, let's take a look. So here we are returning to the new Rorschach series being published by DC under their Black Label imprint. If you guys watched the video for issue 1, you'll know that I really enjoyed the first issue. I think issue 2 here might be even better. Again, please subscribe to this channel. Please like that video for issue 1 and comment and tell me what you think. Please do the same for this video. If you enjoy this content, please subscribe to this channel. And so, again, I can't stress enough just how cool this cover is and how cool the covers have been since the series has begun. Like I said, I think we're on issue 5 right now. But this, again, is done by Jorge Fornes, and we have William Myerson, the Rorschach costume, Laura Cummings here, and they're running. See their shadow and this kind of Rorschach image with a skull. It's really cool. A+ all the way, 5 stars. Cool design elements with how everything's laid out here. And then also when we're flipping it, again, we have a quote from the issue and then another image. It is the responsibility of the responsible man to recognize the failures in the unthinker! Exclamation point. Very Ditko-esque, and we'll get into even more of that kind of stuff in this issue. Coming off of the first issue, we have that big cliffhanger of, is Walter Kovacs still alive? The original Rorschach, what's up? Of course, this issue does not answer anything, which I think is absolutely fine because it's a big reveal. Secondly, we actually get to know more about William Myerson and the guy that was killed at the beginning of this story, this series. So that's another reason why I really liked this issue. So we'll get into that too. So I wasn't lying about the ink blots getting larger. We see here, we have that. I wonder if this will actually turn into its own like Rorschach image. That'd be pretty cool. This first page here, and we'll get back to this when we close it, you'll see why, but I love it. And we have our main detective character. He's going into this apartment complex. He's going to be doing some work there with the lettering and then the narration dialogue here. It's not too much, and of course it's not covering up anything important. It's really important as a writer and as a letterer too, not to cover up anything on the page that is really important. And we just have this building here, this apartment complex, and it's not too much dialogue. It's not doesn't bring any sores to your eyes or anything like that looking at it. And I just love how the rain is coming down in a diagonal manner, and we have this one straight still image here. So just really great. I'd opening it up, I'm like, man, this is just well done. So I want to really talk about flashbacks and how to do flashbacks in comics. This is something that this issue really brought out to me. And looking at this page here, what's in red is flashback, and what's kind of the regular color palette of the series is the present day. And so we're following this character here. She's walking to the elevator, but it's cut between flashbacks and present day. And so the color's showing it, and it's really neat because it's one sequence of events, but it's split up between flashbacks and present day. So it's like we're following her, but he's walking the same steps that she walked in. And I just think it's really neat. I'm sure it's probably been done before, but it's really cool to see that. And It's just something I take notice of. And so he's walking, she's walking to the elevator. She's standing here. He's the one pressing the button. She's waiting as it's supposed to close. It closes. He walks out of the elevator. She's walking down the hallway. He gets to the door and she knocks. Like, that's pretty sweet. That's a pretty cool sequence. And I gotta say, it seems very scripted. Like, this is something Tom King wanted to do and wanted to show. And of course, as we know, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but there's, a ton of collaboration that I can tell just from this series, or at least, Tom King knows what he wants to see, and Jorge Fornes, does a great job at showing it. And again, she knocks, present day. He's coming into this room. This is, we'll find out to be William Myerson's apartment. And he's like, "What? I'm coming. 1 second, please." As he's walking out, again, flashback, the detective is walking in. It's just like, dang, like, I love that. I love seeing sequential storytelling and how to lay out a page, and all of that is just being done brilliantly here. It's just like, wow. You got to think about that stuff. I mean, it just shows that the kind of story you're trying to tell. I can tell they know what they're doing, and that's what's cool about it. It's not just, let's put this panel here and let's do this here and we got to make this fit in here. It's like, this is all composition. This is all storytelling, and it's tight and clean. And I mean, you can just tell, and I love that. So he's rummaging through artist supplies here, and he's interviewing this lady who knew William Myerson. And again, we go back to flashback, and the color shifts, so we know we're in a flashback. Flashback here. This is a neat, just simple 4-panel layout. And you see, if you didn't even read this dialogue, like, what's happening here. And, he's waiting. They're on a date. He asks if he can kiss her. She declines, and he turns away. And so we can tell this character, he's been rejected. He, doesn't fit in, doesn't belong. I think a lot of us feel that way in a lot of ways. And something I related to this character, and that's something that's really important when you're writing about a character and you're trying to make us maybe sympathize or empathize with the character, how to relate to him. And when I was reading this issue, I could totally relate. And what's really cool, he's a comic book artist. I mean, that's awesome. So again, flashbacks here. She has a new boyfriend. He's bullying him. He's not a tough guy. Or right here, he's not standing up for himself. Again, another cool sequence. We see the flashback of William Myerson as he's looking in his mailbox here. He's walking away. The detective's standing, and he goes to the mailbox here. And there's this little thing right here. I mean, shows you they know what they're doing. Here he's talking to someone in the office department, just getting to know more about this person, who William Myerson was, if there are any issues with him doing detective work and so forth. It shows him that he was beat up at some point. He's an artist. He just wants to be left alone, do his art. He rummages around through his stuff again, and he finds some comic book art, some pages. And now this is just another thing that I was just like, so cool. And that is, he's starting to look at this art, and we go to this page here, and it's the page itself, like from what's happening in the real world, the detective looking at a piece of art, and we get to look at it. So we're now the detective, and we're now looking at this piece of art, and we get to read it. And this is, again, very Ditko-esque. This character called the Citizen, Mr. A, the Question, if you're familiar with those characters that Ditko created, they were very objectivist in their thinking, and everything was black and white when it comes to morality and all this stuff. So it's really harking back to that. But something that I wanted to point out, and that I think Tom King kind of shifted here and he kind of changed, was I believe Ditko was more of a conservative, but I think that this character, William Myerson, he is more liberal. So he's kind of like shifting that, and that's an interesting take, I think, on what he's trying to say and what he's trying to do. I noticed something here, something I just noticed reading it, but the villain of the sequence of these pages, he has 14B on his helmet, and I was like, that's got to be someone in the apartment, and we'll find out that it is. But it's cool. It's like, even in this in-world comic, if you're reading it, that's what you would think. And so it's like storytelling within storytelling. Something to point out that I think is pretty neat. So again, we get more of this comic that he had drawn, and it's cool because we see like some pencils and some unfinished work within this, and also saw some blood that is right here, and that was left from, that's William Myerson's blood there. And then here it says like project title, issue, page number, just cool little things like that. I mean, for those of us who enjoy the process and just like looking at ways, I don't know, it's just like, if you like that sort of thing, you like the behind the scenes, it's cool. It's a interesting thing to do and unique. Again, something that was really stressed in my video for issue 1, but this is one image split between 2 panels. I really love it. Look, 14B, there we go. Goes to talk to this guy. This is a really neat sequence where we have William Myerson just standing at the elevator, but behind him we're seeing movement and progression. So he's, this guy behind him standing, walks up to him. William Myerson's not really in a good mood. So we're continuing with the story here, kind of revealing more about this kind of altercation that he had with that girl he knew, and they all stayed in the same apartment for all these years. And right here, well, actually right here, this is kind of neat. It's just the door is unlatched, latch, taking back. I just love comics. I love how the way you can show storytelling with the art, and I think that's really neat. But here, so we see the altercation between William Myerson and the guy that was kind of basically bullying him and just being kind of a jerk. And of course, that's what led, I think, it all kind of, we see all these different varying stories, and it all ties in together to where we figure out the string of events and how everything kind of started and began. And so instead of just showing you all of that and telling the story in a very beginning, middle, to end way, it's like the detective is figuring this out and he's putting the pieces together, and you're doing that with him. So really the detective seems to be an avatar or a catalyst for the reader. And I think that's a great way to involve the reader and, have them get behind the detective here and what he's doing. And so he asks her, Mrs. Thompson, how did your husband die? And she lights a cigarette. She doesn't say anything. I'm imagining that she's probably telling him, or maybe the detective's imagining what happened. But we see here, we have who we think, of course, is William Myerson, dressed up as Rorschach, and Laura, and they break into the apartment. And the guy's begging for his life. He needs his pills. He's having a heart attack, really. And he says, can't hear what you can't know. And she's not going to save him. And of course, she's begging that they help her husband, but they're not. Then we go to the last final page. And this is what I wanted to talk about. So with regards to the first page of this issue, we close this issue out, and we began walking into the apartment, and then we close the issue leaving the apartment complex. And the way the layout is, it's exactly like page 1, but it's nighttime. Everyone's lights are on, and just looking at this page and then looking at page 1 real quick. It's like bam, bam. And like, what a way to make an issue feel complete. It has these bookends to it. And when I finished this issue, I thought, man, this is just well done, well written. You can tell they put a lot of thought into how this issue was put together and written. I think Tom King knows what he's doing here and has a great relationship with the artists, and they're putting out something that is really worth checking out. And when I read issues like this and I look at comics like this, it makes me want to write comics. It makes me want to be a better writer and do things like that when it comes to how you're structuring an issue and how you are able to make everything feel complete, and like you got a full meal, you could say, from your reading experience with a single issue. So I hope that was really cool to look at, guys. I thought it was, and I'm glad for you to join me with this. This was issue 2 of Rorschach. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Let me know what you think of this issue. Did you like it more than issue 1? How are you enjoying the series? And, all that good stuff. Please let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.